Obama only lost 2 states from that original map of 2008. He lost North Carolina and he lost Indiana. And he only lost North Carolina by a fraction of the vote. So I remember I was on TVNZ, we're doing a election special about that presidential election, and because everybody had got burnt in 2000, 12 years on, TVNZ was still gun shy about anybody declaring the result too soon, in case there was another, Miami fiasco. So we had to go in there. It was obvious that Obama had already won the election, and we managed to spend 2 hours not talking about that. But the fact we spent most of that time talking about that he was doing so well in Florida showed that he was going to easily win. Now, that leads me finally to the current Electoral College map based on the latest polling. I redid it this morning because Iowa, which had previously been in the Republican column, like a lot of states at the moment, are rejecting Trump. Hillary had like a 17-point lead in Iowa, so I flipped that. And you can see here that essentially she's restoring pretty close to the Obama's map from 2008. North Carolina is just marginally back in the Democratic column. Like I say, Indiana is staying with the Republicans. But what is interesting about the current polling, and because Trump is seen as being such a disastrous candidate, is a state like Mississippi, where a Republican candidate would normally win by 20 or 30 points. Hillary was within 3 points of Donald Trump in Mississippi, which shows you just how slanted the race is at the moment. And her leads in these states are really humongous. Trump is saying, I will compete in New York, I will compete in New Jersey. Well, she's nearly 30 points ahead in New York, she's over 20 points ahead in New Jersey. His ability to compete in these states, I actually think, is non-existent. So that is where the race sits today. Can it change? It can change if Donald Trump can change.
That's a great point to finish on. We've got time for 1 or 2 questions for it, because it's such a tour de force.
I would like the questions.
Back in the 20th century, there was a publishing magnate called Hearst, and he was involved in the Republican primaries. My reading of his speeches was that he was far worse than Trump at being xenophobic and controversial. Have people forgotten that? Why the hysteria about Trump when he's quite mild compared to Hearst?
Because it's 2016. Yeah.
There's been talk about 400 of the Republican delegates actually ditching Trump. How likely is that to happen at the convention later this month?
Yes, it would be delightful. I think they have to go down with Trump. What there could well be is a separation here where Trump's left with minimal support, and the Republicans will draw the wagons out of trying to save the Senate and save the House. I mean, I think there is a genuine concern here over the Senate, because there's a lot of Americans that basically single tick. So if they tick Democrat for president, they just down tick it. And that's what the Republicans fear at most. A month ago, I would have said that there was still some chance of it. And I actually think, as a matter of principle, some of them should. But it's very interesting in American, the Republican Party's been heading to this catharsis for some time. You could see it through really the collapse of the Bush presidency, that the Republicans were heading into this space. So the fact that in a 17-man field Trump was able to win it is not entirely surprising. This is probably a bit rude, but There's been one statement about this race I think has actually summed it up for me better than any others, and more academic or scholarly critiques. There are actually enough morons in the Republican Party to make Donald Trump their nominee. There are not enough morons in America to make him president.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Johansson. Outstanding set of remarks. I'll say one thing about that last remark, last comment, which is we actually had to hope that he's right about Hillary winning, because otherwise there'd be a lot more Americans coming down here. We'd have to build our own wall to keep them out. Thank you all.
We've got 2 members with interesting notices.
Thank you, President Mark and members. This is the last time you'll have an opportunity to buy the entertainment book. For a card for $60 here, you have access to 250 odd fine and casual dining restaurants in Wellington, and literally thousands of other offers. You get $35 to $40 off per meal, so 2 visits and you paid for your card. Last day, there are 6 left. Thank you.
The trouble with being a past president is that you get yourself into things because you think, heavens, there's a lot of work. Somebody should help out the incoming president. So as a result of that thought, Ramsey and I are going to take over doing the bulk of the newsletter for Mark, and we have a few ideas I just wanted to float past you, and if anyone has any comments on those ideas or any suggestions, we'd be really pleased to hear them. One is that we thought, rather than to try and inform the members, the newsletter this year should be about engaging them. Ramsey had the bright idea that we should start with what the next meeting is going to be about, rather than looking to the past and starting, which what I did was start with what the last meeting was about. So we're going to give that a go. And then so the meeting summary is going to be literally a summary with a link, we hope, to the video. So if you want the full thing, Helen Algarve, she's here. You'll have to watch the video. And if you're going to provide some events for us, it'd be really great if you added some photos, because Ramsey's theory is we put more visual images in, the newsletter will work better. But we can't do that. That requires members to do that for us. And any other thoughts will be very welcome. Oh, one other thing we thought we'd do is interview every so often new members, so that people could find a little bit more out about them. So we'll gradually work our way through the list of people in the last year. And then if we run out of those, then we'll start in on some old members.
Thanks, Lee. You've got quite a selection. For all of you, please, I encourage all of you to bring prospective members along. There are membership packs, if you haven't picked it up, which is recruiting membership packs, still on the table outside. There is a survey monkey which is out, excuse the expression, but there is a survey monkey just getting your feel for a whole range of things across the club. Please do complete that. And next meeting, we've got Honey McGregor, the Chief Executive for Forest and Bird, coming along to talk about their role since 1923, which has been the voice for nature. Really, how do you keep New Zealand unique? And in a closing thought, from this is 4th of July and where we're heading to with the global peace, a politician thinks of the next election, a statesman of the next generation. Thank you. See you next week.
Congratulations, Mark.
Hey? No, I'm just doing it first and she's busy, but I'm just looking at how the hell this comes apart. Maybe she takes it out of there. I don't know whether she wants this off or not. Well, I'll leave it. Oh shit, this comes. Yeah.
Shame he didn't have something to say about UK.
What's that?
Shame he didn't have anything to say about the UK.
Right. No, it was America.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
What happens there? See if all the polls are right, is it? According to the polls, it's not even close.
What?
According to his statistics, the polls
For what?
for the presidency.
Oh, for Clinton. According to him, yeah.
Oh, the FBI haven't locked her up somewhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I put it away, leave it there.
You don't mind?
No, that's usually my job. But do you you want to wear it or not wear it?
What do you reckon?
I don't know. Well, it was the thing until what's her name? Couldn't fit it around the neck. Lee was too small. She said it was too heavy. She couldn't wear it, so she decided not to. Up until that time,
Maybe
it
just
always
for special occasions.
well, yeah.
It's good for special occasions.
Yeah. It gives a bit of ceremony.
Thank you, and I'll get better at.
Oh no, that was good. At getting the speakers to stop, but it was quite interesting. So
Yeah, because they're passionate about what they do.
yeah,
It's very. It was a good talk too.
yeah. That's all. I actually wanted to keep hearing it. Too bad we only have the 20.
Yeah.
I actually want to hear about all the other Australia and the UK.
Now we've got a brick.
Oh, have we? Oh, right. Oh, that'd be really good.
Mark, do you know what this is? Was it in that bag?
Yeah, usually.
Eh? I don't know where the hell it was, where I kept it lately. I haven't used it for such a long time. We used to have a bag, but what's the name? It went, no, the bag was in somewhere. What's the name? Took it away. No, someone took it and it never came back. They took it and then fixed up and they never got it back. Come on.
So thank you to both of you.
No, no. What's that bag?
I don't know. No, it's on the thing. But I want you to know, I want to know whether you want the base on.
Does that go in there? Oh, it doesn't go in there.
Smaller bag now in here. Oh, there it is.
Why are we so big?
Pardon? Oh, well, it's got a couple of things in it.
Oh,
You don't, yeah. There's the, here we are.
Do you want the base on it or off it?
I'll leave the base on, I think.
Easier on, wouldn't
Oh,
it, if you can?
actually, I can just slide. Actually, I can just slide it then. I'll take it because this little bag is bigger than the other one I had.
First,
Yes,
it's
it does.
always, it's like any operation. You've got to get the first one